Good afternoon, y'all. This is the NPP. I'm Mariana.
I'm Diane.
Raphael.
And today, this month, our topic is going to be about Pride. So, what is Pride? And when I say Pride, I'm really talking about like the celebration that happens once a year in the summer, where you can be as queer as you want, and it's all right. So the three points that we're going to talk about that I'd like to cover today is what is Pride, why we need it, and maybe touch a bit about what I feel like something that I feel is happening is the appropriation of Pride by straight people and how they are invading our space. It might be a little weird. I'm still, processing it, but once we get to it, I'm sure I'll be more coherent. So first of all, why do we celebrate Pride once a year? What is Pride? So we have to remember that Pride is a festival that happens once a year where you can be as queer as your little heart desires.
Yes.
So it is a celebration of love, but it's a celebration of our love, of our community, and of our chosen families. Because we have to remember that the first Pride was a riot. It was the Stonewall riots in New York, where the Stonewall riots, it was a bar that was owned by the mafia and, patroned by queer people and trans people of color. And the police would often frequent that bar to get bribes from the patrons and the owners. And when that community had enough, they revolted, and it turned into like a couple nights long of riots in the streets trying to take back the spaces. So we hold, a celebration once a year to, again, be as queer as our little hearts want, and also to, mourn the people that we've lost along the way, mourn everything that individually we might have lost, coming into ourselves, and also celebrate the fact that we are still here, that we're still fighting. So, first things first, I'd like to ask my co-hosts, what does Pride mean to both of you? What is, the going to the festivals, going to the events, what does it mean for you?
Oh gosh, I can't remember the first Pride I went to. But because how I feel about Pride has evolved over the years. Right now, Pride for me just means being able to be myself and being able to be with my community, people who are like me, and so I don't feel so alone. That's generally how I feel about it. I love it. Yeah.
It's interesting because I had a love-hate. I don't know, well, I think I know why, but the first time I went to Pride, and how was I? I think it was like 13, 14, I think, and I remember going there, and then I saw, people dressing, with skimpy clothes, and like chest out and everything, and I told myself, well, I was young. I was also young, so maybe I wasn't developed yet. So I was like, well, I don't try to be sexual.
Okay.
And in my mind, I was like, it's sexual. It doesn't talk about us being proud of ourselves. But then as I grew up, I started feeling like it's because of the what heterosexuals say about us, that gay guys or even lesbians and everything, the way we are viewed as sexual beings, we enjoy, fornicating around. So sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, we enjoy.
All those gays.
All those gays and fornication.
But you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
And as I grew up, and I think now I'm at a place where I'm starting to love Pride, because for some reason, when I'm there, I feel like I can be myself. For once, I can be amongst people like me, and we can have, we can just celebrate being proud of who we are.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like if you want to be naked and dressed in leather, like, go for it. Like, Pride is the place to do it, because that is, like, this is your community. You can be whatever you want to be at Pride. Which kind of brings me to like another point that we kind of touched upon earlier. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. I think people have. There's been this with the growing acceptance of queerness, queer identity, gender nonconformity, going beyond, the traditional, just like man woman roles. There's with that growing acceptance, there's been a bigger corporate sponsorship has taken up bigger space in Pride, and while that is good, obviously it's good that we have more acceptance. It's that corporate sponsorship, for me, I feel it's kind of repackaging Pride and turning it into a love festival, but it's not just, queer love that's important. It's all love. So then we reach kind of like this place where Pride is turned into a festival, and you have more and more and more straight people coming into our spaces and not respecting the environment. Because I feel that Pride, you can obviously, anyone can go to Pride, but when you go to Pride as a straight person and you're there to like make fun of people, take pictures, be inappropriate, like you're not understanding what Pride is and what your role is there as a spectator. Like, you're in our space, you're a guest at our events, at our clubs. There are things that you can and can't do. So I've noticed like more and more, straight couples at like queer spaces, and then you have like the gaggle of like straight girls going to like a queer club. And while I can understand that you would prefer a queer environment because you're safe from like aggressive and disgusting guys, straight men aren't stupid. They know where you are. They're gonna find you, and they're gonna they bring in their toxic and disgusting behavior into our environments. Like, there's a friend of us that is a friend of ours that is a bartender at a queer club here in Montreal, and he's obviously noticed an uptick in like dudes fighting over girls at these queer spaces because they know where they are. It's so disgusting. That's kind of, it's a little all over the place, but I hope I'm coherent. I just want to read one little thing from this like list by Meg Kale from MatadorNetwork.com. It's from a little list that she called Dear Straight Allies, please don't come to Pride until you've understood 6 things. And I'm just going to read a little bit of the 6th point, which is, you're a guest in our space, act accordingly. So what I'd like to read, here it is. Straight cis folks can go to any party and feel comfortable dancing, holding hands, and making out with their significant other or hottie of the night without feeling like they can be in danger because of their identity. LGBT people do not always have that luxury. If you choose to go to Pride, be a supportive observer and participate in activities, but don't try to be the focus of the event. And I feel like that's something that's becoming more and more prevalent at Pride. It's less about queer people and more about everyone. And Pride is important because it's supposed to be about us and our families and our love.
But just to piggyback on the straight folks going to gay bars, right, or gay clubs, for example. I remember when I was, going back in the past today. I remember when I was jumping in the time machine. I remember when I was younger. I don't remember. It was my 20s, and I was going to I was going to a gay bar with my brother and everything. And then there was another guy who was coming with us, and my brother was like, I'm going with you, Rafi. And because I was discovering myself. I was being more comfortable in me being a gay man, right? And I remember the guy was with us and with another group, and he said, I just want to go over there because I know all the hot girls are there. And I remember just sitting there, and I was just like, in some reason, I don't know if it was egocentric, but for me, it was more about me being comfortable, being in a surrounding, where people like me are there, And then when I heard the guy say, all the straight girls go there, I was just like, but wait a minute, this is really not about you. And I don't know if it's egocentric. I don't know if it's I don't know.
I understand like where that's coming from because again like you're I mean if I understood correctly it was like your first time going into like a queer club, queer bar, and like you're there and you brought your friends along to be like supportive of you, and then they turn it into themselves and how they're
it wasn't my friends. It was like a guy that was a friend of a friend that came with us.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. He was part of the group. Yeah.
This reminds me of 2 Halloweens ago. We went to a Halloween party.
Oh God!
Yeah, we were in a queer space. There's this what is the organization called? Let's Spread the Word.
LSTW.
In Montreal, and they held a Halloween party, and they have a bunch of parties every year. And we went to their Halloween party in 2015, and we were having it was so much fun. But then towards the end, like there were these guys who. I mean, I read them as totally straight.
They were so clearly straight, and they were just there to like, just to like disrupt the party. Like,
was it also just for women?
Yeah,
it was just for women.
No. Like it was open to anyone, but obviously the LSTW is a woman love woman organization, so they're hosting parties for other queer women to go out and meet other queer women.
Right.
So the majority of the people present were women. Women obviously there with a woman or trying to get like hook up with someone else. But like there was this like group of like 3 to 4 straight dudes and they just walked in.
But you could feel like the energy shift. Like we were just dancing and then these like 4 guys come in and we're like us and our friends were just like, oh.
Like fucking like Moses parting the Red Sea. They walked in through this like crowd of queer women and everyone just kind of like opened up.
We were
and, like,
all uncomfortable. But I think
on?
we were the most uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think there are some people who just probably didn't notice. But I think when you're a person of color, it's a lot more like obvious.
Because these were like it was a group of like 3 to 4 like straight white guys, and then they were like saying like, oh, what's going on, like what's this what is this party? It's like, get the fuck out of here, this isn't for you.
I feel so this is something that's like I understand and I'm getting better at it, and I'm like I totally know what like I'm sorry, how do I say this? I know that Pride is like a place that's for our love, and like the more I talk about it, the more I realize like yes, this is like it should like if straight people are gonna come into this, they need to understand how to be an ally. For me, however, like I never going to Pride wasn't my first time being in a queer space, so I feel guilty because when I was younger, my first I think one of my first experiences going into a queer space was me being with my girlfriends. And we went to a gay bar.
Like a straight group of
like a straight group of, and like this is before I came out and everything, and so like I always felt uncomfortable, but it wasn't like because I'm very good at adapting to like whoever I'm with, so I'm just like totally, we're gonna go to so my my straight friends were just like, yes, we have to go to a gay bar, it's gonna be so much fun, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be so much fun, and I did have a lot of fun, but I felt uncomfortable, and so I feel guilty like having had that experience.
I'm on the same page with you. Like even before I came out, I would go with a bunch of like girls who were my friends and like go to these bars, and I would feel uncomfortable, but it's not because I was uncomfortable in the space, it's just that I kind of at that time I kind of knew that I wasn't 100% straight, and I wasn't comfortable being with a group of straight girls in this environment. I just kind of knew that like something is off, And I think sorry, let me just finish this point real quick. If we're not saying that if you're straight you can't go into queer spaces, you can't go to Pride, that's not what we're saying. It's that if you go by yourself, if you're not invited, there's certain things that you can and can't do, and you have to just remember that this isn't about you. And if you're queer and you want to bring straight friends, obviously that's fine, and just it's shitty for the queer friend to have to be policing and like keeping an eye on their straight friends, which I feel like is a lot of the time what ends up happening, which is just shit for the queer person because it's supposed to be about them, it's their party.
And I also just want to say like again the same thing as you, like we're not saying like you're straight, don't come. We're not saying that, like I feel like everybody should come to just experience the wait, I'd be careful when I say this experience, to just be amongst us and be our allies, right? And you know, be with us, right? And understand, you know, what we went through as, you know, gays and bisexuals and lesbians and transgender. Then see that, you know, this is a place where we're very comfortable. This is a place where, you know, we can do what we want. We can kiss who we want.
And we've
without
earned the
feeling
right
uncomfortable.
to be in
Yeah.
that space.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
We
when
do whatever the fuck we want in that space.
yeah, space. And then when a straight person comes, you know, like, it- you can be in that space, but you can also be in your space. But us, we can only be in that space. But if we go in a room full of straight guys or straight women, and people are gonna view us and judge us, and if I start kissing my boyfriend in a straight club, like.
Yeah.
You know, people are gonna look at us like, "What the fuck am I doing over
Yeah.
here?" You know. So I think like you have to be aware of where you are, you know, and also mind you, like I've been with my brother when he went with me, like he was aware of where he was, you know. Some straight people do know where they are and they do respect, you know.
Yeah, our
what's
straight
going-
friends
yeah.
know
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
their
you know.
place also.
Just know where you are, like when you come in a queer space, know that we've been struggling, and don't make it about you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so
Yeah.
trying to
It's not
say.
Oshiaga and it's not Coachella.
It's not Coachella. Yeah.
It's we're not all here for the music. You know what I'm saying?
There's a time and place for flower crowns, straight
I know.
people, and Pride is not one of them.
Exactly.
What else? Yeah, because we were talking a little bit earlier, but for the three of us, last year was the first time that when we were leaving Pride, we left all our rainbows on. Like in previous years, I would take it off as I was leaving because I didn't want to call attention to myself. I didn't want to make myself a target. But like last year I said, fuck it, you know, like today's about me. Today's about my identity.
Yeah, there was one year when I went to Pride and I had these rainbow leggings. But funnily enough, though, I left my place with those leggings. But before I went home at night, and it was like because I guess I was scared to like to go home, and so I changed into a black pair of leggings, which I kept in my bag. So it was just this feeling of like deflation and like loss because. You know, you have the celebration, but then you have to get ready to go back out there and like put on the gear of being like, okay, you know, I can't draw again any attention to myself. But yeah, last year I think like I kept all of my I left home and I came back home wearing the same thing. But still like last year there was before Pride there was the Orlando shooting that happened, so it was a really scary. It's always a scary time. So even though there's this feeling of like I'm super proud to be who I am, and I'm not afraid of being who I am. There's this feeling of I'm still scared of what people are gonna see when like what people will do when they see me.
Yeah. The same thing with me. Like when last year again was I've been to 2 or 3 parades to Prides, yeah. And this was the first time I put my bandana on, and then I came because like before I would hide who I was when I was at the Pride, and I would go still in hiding, you know. But this time I was just like no, I'm gonna wear my bandana. I'm gonna walk home with a bandana, but still like I still felt comfortable because I know some people, some straight people, they do not like it. So there's always like that fear, you know.
It's like this is who I am, but I'm bracing for confrontation.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
I was ready. Like, listen, like, you want to fight me? Like,
do you want to test me?
Catch these hands, yo.
I'm
use my
here.
bandana.
We're here and we're queer. All right.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything else that they'd like to add? Anything else?
No, I think we have Pride because this is where we can be. This is the space that we can be ourselves. And again, if you are a straight person, learn how to be an ally. Don't just come to invade the space. And again, like don't make it about yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to all our allies that are doing the right thing, like, we see you.
We see you.
We
We love
acknowledge
you.
you.
Thank you so much for supporting us. And it's so exciting because this year is like the big Pride.
Yeah, here in Montreal. I think we're hosting World Pride.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Montreal Pride. plus World Pride. So yeah, it's gonna be fun this
It's
year.
gonna be so much fun. I really
So in closing, I would just like to read another little excerpt from the Meg Kale list. It is the one time a year when we can come together and be surrounded by the family we choose, because our bodies and our identities are still policed by the government, religious groups, and even the people we love. We reserve Pride as the opportunity to express ourselves in the way that is most authentic to our community. Sometimes that's by drunkenly singing Robin songs at the top of our lungs, and sometimes it's by crying during the eulogy for our murdered trans sisters. We are allowed to have multiple feelings simultaneously as we celebrate our wins and mourn our losses as a community.
Beautiful words.
Alright guys, so that's it for this month. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, on Twitter. We're on Tumblr as well. All the links will be down below. And let us know down in the comments how you're going to be celebrating Pride this year.
Have an amazing Pride.
And be safe.
Yes,
safe,
be
y'all.
safe.
Yeah.
Bye!
Bye.
Wait.